Joe and Rachel Stauffer are ketogenic YouTubers who go by the handle 2 Crazy Ketos. Their journey into coaching, thought leadership, and community building started in a familiar way, through a life-changing health improvement spurred by a ketogenic diet. These two are an absolute joy to hang out with and to listen to and to learn from. And in learning from them, you'll witness how they hold supportive, non-judgmental, and curious space for their community of fans and followers, and how their know, like, and trust factor has converted into earning a living coaching and teaching people. Hi, I'm Erin Power.
And I'm Laura Rupsis.
We're certified health coaches, and this is Health Coach Radio.
This podcast is about the art, science, and business of health coaching.
We share our insider tips to help you become a better coach and entrepreneur.
And we interview expert guests to discover how they've made it in this growing field.
It's time for health coaches to make an impact.
It's time for Health Coach Radio. All right, you 2 crazy ketos. We've got Joe and Rachel on today. We're excited to talk to you for a multitude of reasons, but we saw you guys just light up the stage at KetoCon this year. And so I remember thinking, gosh, how did they get there? And I know a lot of people probably in the audience were like, how did they get that gig? That sounds awesome. And I know there's a really cool story that leads up to all of that. So we're excited to kind of hear your trajectory and kind of where y'all started.
Thanks so much for having us today. It's so nice to get to chat with you. And it was so nice to see you at KetoCon face to face. That was so lovely. But yeah, we're excited to be here today.
It's funny you say, like, people ask how we got there. I'm still looking for the answer for that question.
One step at a time.
So honestly, we started our YouTube channel as a joke.
What?
It was a complete joke, never meant to do anything. What had happened was I had entered into a weight loss bet at church with a bunch of guys. And basically everybody started going to a CrossFit, and the CrossFit was owned by somebody who was in the church. So he basically gave everybody who attended the church a deal of, we only paid $50.
Ridiculous deal.
So if anybody knows anything about CrossFit, you know, you can't operate a CrossFit when 90% of your clientele is only paying $50.
No.
Right? So he ended up closing. And then I was like, now what? Because I really wanted to win the bet. First of all, I weighed over 300 pounds.
What?
And I really wanted to win the bet, especially because my son was also competing in this bet. And I didn't know what to do. I have a lot of different injuries. I have pins in my ankle. I've spent 25 years taking arthritis and painkiller medicines. And Danny Vega had just left our church, and he had left rumblings of keto. And so I was like, I'm going to try this keto thing. And at first, Rachel was like, absolutely not. If it's going to cost us any money, you can't do this because we live on a budget. But I ended up doing it. Rachel joined me and subsequently quit within a month because she wasn't having success and I did. And over 6 months, I lost almost 100 pounds in the first 6 months. But more importantly, I pretty much got rid of my arthritis in my ankle. I was no longer taking painkillers. I was no longer taking arthritis medication. I was no longer pre-diabetic. I was no longer like having stroke symptoms. All of that went away. And then Rachel ended up joining me like the following January when she was on a regular fast. And I said to her, listen, at this point, you got to be in ketosis. Just do me a favor and try this again. And she was like, only if you cook everything I eat.
Best deal I ever made in this marriage was you have to do all of the cooking. That's your chore. And he happily took that up. I actually joined him in keto to save the marriage because I was severely calorie restricting. I have done just every single diet you can imagine, anything with a name. I have, eaten that entire stock pot of cabbage soup, which is ridiculous, but I've done that because people just don't know me, right? What I'm able to consume, when you tell me this is a free food or this is what you can eat and lose weight. So I had worked myself into a 500 calorie a day for 2 years diet, only eating oatmeal, a cup of oatmeal and one dipping cup worth of Greek yogurt. That's what I was eating every single day for 2 years. And I managed to gain 70 pounds doing that because calorie restricting, mops you into a terrible corner, especially when, you're not providing yourself with really any, minerals or, nutrients with that way of eating.
Now, we do want to say she lost 100 pounds initially.
Yeah.
But then because she was afraid to gain it back, she continued that way of eating and then put 70 pounds back on, eating the same food.
So it was very hard for me to come back to keto because I was just so afraid of consuming more calories. That was always just what was running through my mind. But thankfully, my husband was a lighthouse to my life, not a foghorn to my life. He didn't try to preach to me, you better do it like this, do it my way. And so I came around just watching his success. And especially when he was having such amazing health results, because I pushed my husband around in a wheelchair on our honeymoon. So I knew that we were, looking forward to a future where he was really going to have limited mobility. So as I saw him retake back his life with keto, I joined him. And then thankfully, Keto 2.0 worked for me and I had incredible results. And of course, anytime you lose a bunch of weight, we were children's pastors at the time. And, you've got thousands of people just seeing the incredible shrinking couple, what is happening? So they were asking us, what did you do? And so our response was, keto, and you would spend 30 or 40 minutes explaining to somebody, what happened, only to have at the end of that, them go, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be too hard. Right. And so we thought maybe if we put it on a video, then I could just point them to the video. And if for some reason they were like, yeah, no, that's not for me, I didn't have to face the rejection. Does that make sense?
That's a great idea. Okay, so you decided to make a video to share your health origin story. What was in that video? Was it this montage, before pictures, after pictures? Was there a voiceover? No,
it was. We actually came home from church one day, and this is the second marriage for both of us, and we started realizing that our children are getting ready to leave and we're going to be empty nesters. And I think our youngest at the time was 17. And we looked at each other and we were like, we have never experienced marriage to each other without children.
Yeah.
We better figure out what we're going to do because we only know how to be married with children. And so Rachel's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, let's start a YouTube channel to tell people about keto. And we sat down on the couch. It is the most cringy video because I had no idea what to do with audio. With
I'm
video.
orange.
And we just told our story. And then we made 3 or 4 videos and we put it out there and we're like, okay. And so anytime anybody asks us about eating whole foods, we pointed them, go watch this. And then if they were still interested, we would say, okay, we'll help you along. The only person who we ever forced was Rachel's mom because we had lost her dad and we really wanted to make sure she was going to stay with us.
Yeah. My parents had been married for almost 50 years when my father had a widowmaker heart attack. And, we wanted that ride in the ambulance. We wanted that thing where everybody as a family are kind of sitting around this person who's been taking their health for granted for too long. And we wanted that opportunity to be like, okay, starting now, we're all going to do better. And we didn't get that. Sometimes you don't get that. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that because they'd been married for so long, statistically, you lose one parent, you lose the other parent. And so I told my mom, okay, woman, I am never going to force my lifestyle on anyone else, but I'm forcing it on you because I want to keep you around. So she's the only woman that I've been willing to fight with over keto. Everybody else, it's like, take it or leave it. I get it. You got to do what works for you. But for her, what works for me was going to work for her. So my mom had been diagnosed with a few blockages in her heart, and we were going to have to go and have stents put into her heart. She was going to have surgery. And so from diagnosis to surgery, it was going to take a little bit of time for us to get her into the hospital. And so I said, well, let's just eat keto. Let's just do it. Let's just keep doing it and we'll just see what happens. And so a couple of months later, she'd been a keto for about 2.5 months. We went to the hospital. They wheeled her into surgery. They wheeled her right back out. I was like, what is wrong? And the doctor said, the blockages are gone. There is no blockages, and she doesn't need to have this stent put into her heart. And I was like, oh my gracious. A couple of more months went by in her journey, and she completely reversed her type 2 diabetes, which she had for more than 20 years. And so I told Joe, I was like, oh my gracious, we as children's pastors want to help children and families just live their best life. And I think that we've just discovered another way to serve families, because I'm not the only one that wants to hold on to the families and the parents and the grandparents in a family. Like, I think other people would benefit from this. So that's when I think we got a little bit more serious about really spreading the word about what the health benefits could be from keto.
Yeah. And we had read like Mark Sison's books and really started diving into, we started keto. I mean, back when we started, there were not a lot of keto products and stuff. So it was, whole foods, but net carb kind of thing. And then we started learning more and more and started going, what else can we do? Like, okay, let's eat pasture raised eggs. Let's start getting rid of seed oils. Because again, like most people, everybody think heart healthy canola oil, right? Yeah. And so what really sparked us was we're like, okay, we're going to make this change and we're going to start buying avocado oil mayonnaise. We went to the store and we picked up a jar and we brought it home. It was buy one, get one free. And we ate about half the jar and I turned it over and I'm like, they lied to us because the first ingredient was soybean oil. Yeah. And we immediately sat down and made a video, and that started us doing product reviews because we're like, I don't want anybody to ever have this happen to them because they didn't look at the label. They just saw this avocado oil mayonnaise on the front and didn't realize that they're just adding that, but it's not really avocado oil mayonnaise.
And for us, it was like part of our budget. I mean, it may not sound like a big deal to go from buying like the $2 or $3 mayonnaise to the $6 mayonnaise, but for our family of 5, making those decisions to get 1% better in the quality of ingredients that you bring into your house, I think we had always wrongly believed the advertising and the marketing. Sometimes it's just so beautiful, the marketing and the labels that you see on packages. And we kind of falsely believed that the jingles and the advertisements that all of these food companies are in it with us. Like they care about our family. I don't know what was wrong with me that I would see the Honey Nut Cheerios bee circle around grandfather and be like, that bee loves grandpa. And it's like, that bee does not love grandpa. In fact, that bee is not really even an actual bumblebee. It's an animation. It cannot speak. And it's just a representative of a larger company whose goal is not for grandpa to get well. It's for them to be profitable. And so I'm going to have to be my best advocate in this. But if I'm going to bring other people in my family, like my mom, and then my brother and sister-in-law, who later came on board for keto, I need to kind of go ahead and help them navigate the landscape of the grocery store because we're all shopping very differently now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like coaching 101. And when people ask, well, like, what is a health? What are you, a nutritionist? Are you a personal trainer? More and more people are aware of the term. And I think more and more people kind of think they know what it is, but not really know what it is. And so when I try to describe it, I have my own little definition, but that's one prime example in terms of a health coach is going to provide you with tools and resources and help you determine how to build your own tools and resources to accomplish what you want to do rather than just put you on a diet. And that's one great example. And I love the idea of doing kind of product reviews and showing people kind of what to look for. What an easy way to do that on video. I take people to the grocery store when they're local to me. That's a long appointment. It takes us I'm like, we're going to need an hour and a half, block your calendar to go through this stuff. So I want to dig into like your YouTube channel and kind of how you started that. But before we do, I don't want to let something go because it's paramount to health coaching and people in this space. When Joe, you said that you were highly successful in keto very early, you were like melting fat versus Rachel, not successful, right? And I work with a lot of couples, and this is very common where, and I also owned a CrossFit gym for a number of years. And again, very common to see the husband, the man, I'm sorry, but it's relatively easy to help a man lose weight compared to a woman. It's just a much more complicated process. So I would love to kind of, in terms of helping health coaches understand what's going on in the mind of the client at that time. Like, my husband and I are on the same diet. He's losing oodles of weight. I've actually gained weight. I hear that, or I've gotten nowhere. So in terms of just like, I would just love your thoughts on kind of how you felt there, Rachel. And you said Keto 2.0 worked for you. What did you do differently?
So I collected some data on myself, which I think is very important. You know, a lot of times we're just angry. We just leave it at emotions. You know, like, I'm upset that Joe is having the success that I'm not having. Joe was doing some things differently than I was. I was eating a lot of the things that were keto approved, like keto friendly foods, like nuts and cheese. I was also snacking throughout the day versus trying to sit down and honor mealtime, 2 or 3 times a day and eat until I was authentically, comfortably full and able to move on with my day. But I want couples to know that just because you're eating the same food does not mean that you're going to have the same results. We're 2 different people, and we celebrate that, right? And I don't get angry that Joe has a different, bunch of clothes in the closet. I don't feel like, man, if I cannot wear his size sneakers, then I am failing at life. And yet sometimes we bring this weird competition, like it's supposed to act exactly the same. For each person, if multiple people in a household, even if the kids jump on, our boys have quicker results than Joe does. There's an age difference. There's an activity difference. We're not living in a test tube. So I think that coming into any health journey, you need to be measuring success a whole bunch of different ways. You need to be looking at things from different angles, because while I was not losing on the scale, and we have a saying on our YouTube channel, the scale is the devil and the mirror is a liar, because the scale is very frustrating if you use that as your only measurement of success, especially for ladies who can fluctuate in water retention, like nobody's business. Like, I'm so much better at retaining water than this man. Like, if you could translate water into a rural cash savings plan, like, we would be millionaires, like, because of the way I can retain water. But I lost inches. So I went down several sizes, only losing 2 pounds. 2 pounds in the right place got me in smaller jeans. So you have to decide, is it okay if I feel better, if I can accomplish the goals in my life, that do the things that I enjoy doing, fit in my clothes differently? Is that okay? Can that be a measure of success instead of only making it about the scale?
And one of the things that I have come to figure out, at least as a theory for myself, is the more female clients that we coach, or just people who have come to us on our channel and we've talked to and we've kind of guided them along, a lot of times women have a lot more healing to do in their body when they switch over to a more primal way of eating, because they're historically under eating. And I see, I have clients come to me that they're eating 1,100, 1,200 calories a day for years, like substantially lower than even what their basal metabolic rate is. And then here they come in and they start eating healthy, and what they don't see is what's happening on the inside. They're only paying attention to the outside. And I'll have someone say to me like, well, I'm not losing any weight. And I'm like, but are you gaining? And they're like, well, no. Well, are you eating more food than you were before? Yeah. So you're eating more food than you were before. You're more satiated. You're feeling better, and you're not gaining. When's the last time you didn't gain weight? Never. I'm like, so there's things happening, and it's just may take a little bit longer for your body to heal metabolically and then see what happens. And I think that it's something that I don't think men struggle with as much, because typically men don't undereat as much as women do, because women are always on a diet because society is always telling them they have to be on a diet.
Mm-hmm. Hold me back. I'm about to go on a diet culture rant. No, I'm not going to go on a diet culture rant, but really interesting. One of the things I loved about this story, and we listened to a lot of these origin stories, and they're always just so exciting, and it's just wonderful to hear people honestly taking back their health. And that's where most health coaches start. Most health coaches, health, fitness, nutrition professionals start by having some personal journey. But I always love listening for a nugget that to me is sort of this what we might call a unique value proposition, a key differentiator. One thing that you shared, Rachel, and I really can relate to your story of your mom, because I lost my mom to all the metabolic diseases, all of them. Just pick one, she had them all. Ultimately, a heart attack is what did my mom in, and I couldn't be there either. So I know what that feels like to, lose somebody and not be there for the last moments. But you had this idea of, I went back to the church or in my community, and with this idea of like, this is your chance to hang on to your family, right? I think that's a really interesting positioning statement. Not that we're here to market or abuse, your lived experience, but whenever I think about what's a soundbite that's going to resonate with a person out there listening who feels like they need help, but they don't know if they need help. They're kind of in this sort of waffly sort of stage of change, is you can hang on to your family. And I think that's a really interesting approach, or just a interesting point of view to come from. Now, it sounds to me like in your YouTube channel, you're just helping people all the time. So people come into your world and they're communicating with you through the YouTube channel, and it sounds like you're giving away a lot of free information. Like you're giving it away for free. Talk about that a little bit.
So where the YouTube channel really became a thing for us is that February of 2018, we had like 250 subscribers, and we went on, we were doing a video, and we said, I heard about this KetoCon thing. I would love to go, but we just can't afford to go. And somebody contacted us, one of our subscribers contacted us, said, hey, listen, I have 2 tickets. My daughter is having a baby. I can't go. We will give you the tickets. All you need to do is get me a t-shirt from Keto Savage. I'm like, deal. And so we went, and when we walked in, there was just something, as we started looking around at people, we started going, this is interesting, because there is a group of people here who all are thinking the same way. They all are trying to fix their metabolic disease. They're trying to eat healthier. They're learning. But the one thing we noticed is that everybody walked the way we did, which was as they walked down, they looked down on the ground. They never looked up and made eye contact with people. Because if you've ever been obese for most of your life, you're ashamed many times. You're afraid to make contact because you don't want to look and see what are they thinking of you. And when we left there, I looked at Rachel and we said, like, okay, this is our mission. Our mission is to literally change the world. We are going to create a community within the keto carnivore space where people can come and not feel ashamed, and they can support each other, because the bottom line, to eat primal, everybody's against you, right? Society says that this is not the way you eat. Society says that we eat hard, healthy oils, and we eat lots of vegetables, and we eat 4 to 6 ounces of protein a day, and we're like, we are going to create a community where everybody can come and get support. And that was the whole focus of why we started the channel and really decided to go full forward with it.
And it was, something that is so important to our life. We love people. We want to serve people. That we believe that is, what our life is all about. How can we love people? And we thought, if we could just be there and people would be willing to look up and take that chance again after maybe years of hurt or rejection or, situations that were embarrassing for them, if they'd be willing to look up they're going to see us smiling at them, open arms, welcoming them. And they didn't ever have to live life alone again. And that's our desire, is for people to know that they don't have to live in isolation. I think that if you are dieting and you have been dieting for years and decades like us, if you have been morbidly obese like us for such a long time, that failure and that guilt and those feelings of just doubt in yourself and hurt really forces you into places and spaces of isolation. And that's a very dangerous place to be. So we're so thankful for everybody willing to take a chance and put themselves out there for friendship. We believe that it is our job to be there to welcome them.
Okay. I just want everybody to press pause on this podcast, rewind a few minutes, and play that whole piece again, because what Joe and Rachel, what you both just shared is exactly what it feels like to be that very overweight person, right? So you have this experience of not making eye contact, of looking to the floor, of feeling like you're nervous to put yourself out there because you're going to be judged by this thin, obsessed culture around you that never treated you well. That's what we always ask people to do, is connect back to what it feels like for this person. We don't really sell, as health coaches, we don't sell products. We don't really sell services. We do, but it has to come from a deep knowing of what the pain that person is experiencing, and coming at it from a very caring way. So every single coach needs to be able to go and do the work that you two just did, to be able to articulate this foundational why. I know the word why is thrown around a lot, but that's what it is. And so people cannot wait to find a coach like you who knows what that feels like.
There is nobody that we're going to speak with or talk to that has failed better than we've failed. You know, that has been more spectacularly embarrassed or hurt than we have hurt. Like, we know what it is to feel like there's never going to be any forward momentum. So for us to experience hope for ourselves and believe in ourselves again, start betting on ourselves, like Joe was in a weight loss bet. He had to believe, he had to think to himself, I have a shot of winning this bet. That's why I'm entering this bet. And I think that when people schedule that appointment, there's some hope when they click that button, when they say like, yes, I'm making the appointment. I'm going to show up because I do have some hope. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's just a chance, but I have some hope, and I'm willing to place a bet on myself and meet one of these two crazy ketos or whatever health coach that they're meeting with, because they believe that there's maybe just a shot that they could move their life in a different direction.
This right there is the quintessential, like, how a health coach is different, because the number of people I've spoken to that have worked with dietitians or nutritionists and worked with personal trainers that were still unsuccessful, because there's this gap. There's a gap, right? Something missing, that complete and utter acceptance of who you are now, what led you here, being able to have an open, unjudgmental conversation about the road that brought you here without any judgment. Mm-hmm. Just using it as a learning opportunity to say, and so here's where I get really kind of the whole, this feeling of shame because you're obese or overweight. It makes me so angry. And we've seen this huge overcorrection on the other side in a lot of ways. I think that I love the concept of a body positivity movement, as long as it empowers people to take the reins and say, I'm healthy, and that I feel empowered to make the best choices for me in the moment and move my life forward. And I don't think we always see that. I think sometimes we're seeing support to just continue down the rabbit hole of choices and behaviors that have led you down that path. How can we just, and again, I love what you're doing, this concept of there's this space of love for who you are right now. And you're wonderful for who you are right now. And what can we learn as far as what led you here? And where do you want to go? Mm-hmm. And what do you want to lean into? And let's find the tools and the resources and the support and the education you need to get there. That's what coaches do. If a diet is what you think you need, Why? You've been on 50 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You have not been successful, right? So a diet maybe is not what you need. I'm not saying we're not going to work on food, but does it need to be a diet?
Keto, carnivore, paleo, AIP, SCD, low FODMAP, so many diets, so much confusion. And if health coaches are having a hard time keeping up, imagine how clients must feel. To make sense of it all, Primal Health Coach Institute partnered with registered dietitian and health coach Martha Tettenborn to create a comprehensive functional therapeutic diet specialist certification. This flexible online course dives deep into the many different types of therapeutic diets. You'll learn the purpose of each of these diets and how to help your clients map out a nutritional plan to resolve their specific health issues. As a certified functional therapeutic diet specialist, you'll help people reach a deeper understanding of food as medicine and transform their lives for the better. Find out more at primalhealthcoach.com.
I would love to find out more about sort of the content you're sharing on your YouTube channel that sort of fosters this environment and this community. Do you mind sharing?
Sure. It's funny because one of the things that I say, I get in trouble a lot for this statement, but I keep telling people all the time, listen, no diet, whether it be keto or carnivore or the proper human diet or paleo or Mediterranean diet, whatever, no diet will work to lose and maintain weight long-term. No diet. The only thing that's going to work is to change your lifestyle and start to recognize things. And so I'll tell people, if you're doing keto to lose weight and then immediately going to go back to the way you were eating before, eating all the sugar, just quit now. Don't bother, because you're just going to get frustrated. And then you're going to go out and tell everybody that keto or carnivore or eating more primal doesn't work. And what it really came down to us is, we share a lot of content for free. We upload 5 videos every week, 2 live streams every week. We recently started a podcast where we do a podcast every Tuesday and Friday. And our thing is, if we can change one person's life, then it is worth it, because that one person becomes a family and that person could pass it down generations. I mean, I've got someone right now who I'm coaching who she lost her sister to diabetes at 44. But because through coaching her, I'm coaching an entire family, and I'm changing not only her life, but her mother's life, her other sister's life, her 6-year-old niece's life. They're all eating a primal way of eating. And for me, if we can change generations, it's worth it. And so we just put stuff out there. We're basically about giving people support and community and education. And we tell people we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals. We're 2 people who lost over 100 pounds eating a ketogenic way of eating and want to be able to help other people do it. And we are blessed to have become friends with people like Dr. Ken Berry and Nisha, and we're able to refer them to people who are doctors, nurses, or health professionals. And so where Dr. Berry can teach them something as a physician, and then we can hold their hand as they go through it.
Yeah, we can really help to live it out. And whatever we're doing, I mean, we do a lot of vlogging so that you can see the day in our life. Because I think that sometimes people have this TV show view of coaching. They think like The Biggest Loser. I basically need to just be trapped in a isolated house. I need to have somebody either yelling at me or hugging me. They're providing all the food. I can't do this on my own. I need to spend 24 hours a day in the gym until this weight comes off. And then, okay, goodbye, go home. Right. Or they have a very social media view of health momentum. They see a before and they see an after photo, and they're not seeing every photo every day that is walked in between those 2 photos. And I feel very privileged that we get to be those people that hold your hand in the middle while you are walking between those 2 pictures. Day 1, and then day when you feel like you can walk away from me and not need my weekly or biweekly health anymore because you feel like you've got a handle on it. And now you can go be a coach within your family. But we continue to always try to reach the one. And I think that it's helped being children's pastors that you understand that you plant a seed in someone's life with what you're doing, but you may not see the fulfillment of that seed. I see children, and I know a lot of teachers have this experience. Maybe you're just going to be the best first grade teacher ever, but you don't know the impact, the fullness of the impact that you're going to have on their adult life. But hopefully the tools that you've given them and the encouragement that you've spoken into their life will help them. And they will remember that, for years to come as an adult.
So first of all, two things that I jotted down while you were sharing about what you do. The first, Joe, you said that, you offer support, community, and education. And I have said this forever. That's what a health coach offers. Mm-hmm. I always say education, accountability, and support, but same thing said two different ways. That's honestly what we, as health coaches, health fitness, nutrition coaches, that's what we offer. And if you tick all three of those boxes, we're really going to help people. Because I think where people get, sometimes where people get hung up is I'm going to give my client all these solutions, give, tell. Mm-hmm. And it's not that. It's more of a three-dimensional relationship. So your YouTube channel creates that inherently because that is a community and there is education there. And then the support is what you offer as individuals. So one thing that really struck me though, is that's a lot of content, 5 videos, 2 live streams, and 2 podcasts a week. So that's a lot. That's like a full-time job, isn't it? And I want to know, how do you come up with the content ideas for those? And first of all, is that consistent? Do you have this in the schedule? Like, are you scheduling this out? We got to get our 5 videos, our 2 live streams, our 2 podcasts. Like this is our weekly schedule, or is it more free flowing? I want to know the sort of back end, the unsexy back end logistics of how you create that much content.
So we do jokingly say we're the best thing that we're consistent at is being inconsistent. Yeah. We do upload 5 videos every week. We never miss that. Our podcasts go up every Tuesday and Friday. That is a newer thing. We've only been doing that for a couple of months. We live stream every Monday at 10 a.m. and every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. The rest of the videos that it's what we just put them up as soon as I can get it edited throughout the week, but we make sure there's at least 5. Many times there's more. Many times there's 7. The content, our Monday is called Keto Beyond the Couch. It used to be called Keto on the Couch, and recently we changed it to Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch. Yeah. And that is just all about our subscribers. We ask them to share your stories because your stories will inspire other people, because there's somebody out there right now that thinks they're alone. And when you share your story, it's going to inspire them that they can do it because somebody else did it. So we have them share their stories and we read their story. We answer questions that we found on our Mighty Networks group throughout the week. Our Thursday live streams are just ask us whatever. And then we vlog, we'll create recipes. Basically, all of the content comes from our own personal struggles. It's like Rachel said earlier, like if there's a mistake to be made, we've probably made it. We've tried every form of keto. We counted net carbs. We counted total carbs. We tried eating extremely high protein. We tried eating extremely high fat. We tried it all. And so our whole thing is to share our experience with people and let them be able to learn from it. We'll take people, like we'll go grocery shopping.
We'll do cooking videos and you'll see us mess up. You'll see it's not perfect. A lot of times we'll start our day, even our vlogging, and I look like a hot mess of crazy. And that's okay, because you have to just live out your authentic life. I think that anybody who's interested in being a health coach, don't pick somebody that you like their content and try to replicate what they're doing. That's a recipe for failure because it's inauthentic. And you can't fool people. I think it's really important to just be yourself and to have confidence in your story. Like we said, our story began with being the biggest failure. So I can get excited about that. Like, yay, I'm already telling you up front, I'm crazy, right? 2 crazy ketos. So there no false advertising. I can already show you I'm going to mess up. I'm not going to do this perfectly because this is Rachel. This is just me. So just be you. If you're interested in being a content creator, don't think that you don't have anything to offer this world. You absolutely do. If you're breathing in and out, you're capable of blessing somebody with your unique story. Somebody needs to hear it.
And I will say, being a content creator, we made this a full-time job back in June, but this has been the hardest part-time job that takes full-time work for part-time money that has ever been done.
Yeah.
But it is the most fulfilling and rewarding thing I've ever done. When you get an email or see a post on Facebook from someone that says, for the first time in 50 years, I haven't had sugar in 5 days.
Yes.
Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe that 6 months ago, my A1C was 10.3 and today it's 5.2. And I'm like, okay, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. If our subscribers are active in our live streams, in the chat, or actively leaving comments or on our Facebook or our Mighty Networks group, we know who they are.
So content creator status is sort of this is our full-time job for part-time pay. But creating content is where a lot of coaches struggle. And so I just want to circle back on two things that you said, which were really crucial, which was, we can create content around the mistakes we made and the frequently asked questions that come in from our community. But I feel like if a coach really sat down and thought through the granularities of every little thing they did, here's an example. I did a whole video on this one brand of Uncle Ben's pre-prepped rice I used to eat all the time. It was this packaged food product. I used to eat it all the time because it was healthy, whole grains. And I went to the grocery store and I saw this at the aisle end cap. And I was like, wow, I used to eat that every day. And I thought, that's a video. I'm going to make a video on this rice and how I ate it every day and why I ate it and how I thought it was healthy. And look over the package. Here's the ingredients. There is infinite potential for content. So just to circle back, you don't have to become a content creator. You don't have to make it your full-time job, but everybody should be making content. And everybody's worried that they don't know what to say. There's a million things you could say if you really just spent the time to get into your own story.
Yeah.
That's all.
I will tell you that the best thing that I have learned from the masterclass is the getting granular. I mean, it has not just changed the way I coach people, but changed the way we do our YouTube channel, changed the way we even examine our own lifestyle. The whole idea of really getting into the nitty gritty.
Yeah. No, I love that. What I love about the whole thing that you guys share too, in regards to content is, and this is something I think is rampant in the social media realm of content creators and health coaches, fitness coaches feel like they don't share the failures. They make everything look like it's effortless and that they never make mistakes. And that drives me because that's not real life. And then you have these followers or people that may be looking to work with you that might feel like, I just don't know if that's within my reach, and I love the fact that you share all the things that go wrong. So I would love to dig into a little bit because you talk about your subscribers, you talk about where you're getting messages. You have your YouTube channel. I heard you also drop Mighty Networks, and I heard you drop your Facebook group. So do you mind telling us a little bit about how all this is structured and where people are connecting with you, where you're actually able to produce revenue and income within these platforms and kind of how it's working?
So the first thing we started was a Facebook group because, again, we were about community. So we just wanted a place for people to go. And then, so we have Facebook. Rachel does Instagram. I know nothing about Instagram. And so she puts up Instagram content. And then I guess about 8-9 months ago, it was like in January or February, we started looking into Mighty Networks. It was actually came at the advice of like our good friend Nisha, because Mighty Networks, we have to pay for that but there's no advertisements in there. We don't have subscribers getting temporarily banned because they use the word fat. And because
like butter is
the
fat.
algorithm is thinking that when they use fat for fuel, they're calling somebody fat.
Yes.
But what it really allowed us is to really get personal with people in Mighty Networks, because if you know anything about all the different social media realms, it's kind of like Facebook, but we can also live stream in there and we can have courses in there. We just ran our first 30-day course challenge inside of there. Cool. But then there's also instant messaging chat, almost like like kind of like Discord, but it reminds me of like the old AOL chat rooms where there's just always people in there. And at 3:00 in the morning, you can go in there and somebody will post, I'm having a bad night right now. I'm about to pick up some candy. And there's somebody else there talking them off the ledge.
Mm-hmm.
And it just amazes me that there's these thousands of people in this group. They're there for free and they're just supporting each other and posting up pictures of their food or posting, hey, I found this product and can you believe all the ingredients that they're calling like keto friendly in here? And it's like coconut sugar. And I love seeing the support there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's really cool. I mean, Mighty Networks is one that I've heard of too. And I've been in communities where I need to pay to be a part of it. Yours is free though.
Yeah.
We do what we used to use Patreon for people who did want to support us. So with Mighty Networks, we offer the group for free to everybody, but then say, if you want to support us a little bit like Patreon, there is another room within there, which they just get some extra stuff. Like they get a private live stream once or twice a month, or if I'm able to upload a video early, they'll get the video 2 or 3 days early, but we don't lock any content behind a paywall. So it's just like for people who, instead of going to Patreon, support us here because we can do more here. They have a private chat with us where they have more access to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a couple of different levels that way.
Okay. I'm going to ask a delicate question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Are you earning a living doing this?
Yes.
Yes. We do represent some companies of, products that we believe in. If it's something that we actually use, then we don't mind representing it. And then, yes, then we'll sell things. Basically, we will represent the company.
We are brand ambassadors for 2 or 3 different companies. We have coupon codes with a few companies, but we've kind of narrowed it down. And there's a few companies that we really believe in their products. And so they were all products or companies that were started by somebody who was eating more of a primal way of eating and developed a product for their own personal use. Like Primal Kitchen is another company that we work with. And so we make a small percentage. If somebody says, hey, I want to get some red mineral salt, I'm just going to go use your link to help support you.
Yeah. I don't think that you should come into this space believing that you're going to become millionaires. I mean, I think that sometimes
somebody does.
Yeah. I think that somebody, might look at things on Instagram. And I think that there are people who are just really great at, looking fantastic and making fun, videos. And maybe they make a lot of money, but I think that you should come into this because this is something that you feel very passionate about. And if I had any piece of advice for someone when it comes to affiliates or some of the products, being a brand ambassador, make sure it's something that you authentically use, something that you're passionate about. Sometimes I see people just kind of accept every single, offer from a company. For instance,
we did that early on.
Yeah. And you just have to kind of let go of all of those things that you're like, okay, I'm never going to use this. So why would I even talk about this? I remember one time we got, someone wanted me to represent them for like workout yoga pants.
Yeah.
And so the yoga pants were like $70 for a pair of yoga pants. I buy most of my clothes through a thrift store. All right. I am like the cheapest woman alive. So why would I represent? I'd be the worst brand ambassador for like $70 pants because that's just not something that I would purchase. So just like you don't want to try to present some sort of fake persona to your videos or your content that you're creating or your coaching to make it look like, hey, like it's magical over here and be inauthentic. You also don't want to be inauthentic in the companies that you represent. My advice is pick something that you really like and move forward. Like there are a lot of protein powders or meal replacement drinks out there. We represent Keto Chow because we think it's the best. And so that's what we do. We represent the one, not like a million.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there coaching now in like, do you have health coaching clients as well, right? So
Yeah.
occasionally people come through from your community and ask for your help. And so how is that part of the business going?
So, we had people for a long time ask us like, hey, do you do coaching? And we both really suffer badly from imposter syndrome. And we're like, we are like the worst coach ever. Like, really, I sleep like 3 hours a night. Do you really want me to coach you that you're supposed to sleep better? And we would just say, no, like we have all this content out for free. And then we really started thinking about it and praying about it. And then said that like, there are some people that just need that extra help that listen, everything's out there for free.
Yep.
And you could get from A to Z without ever spending a penny. I like to equate it to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. There's a scene in the end of the movie where he's got to go in to find the Holy Grail. And there's where he's got to step on certain stones. And Sean Connery is back kind of uttering the things as he's reading the diary. And he's got to figure out which stone to step on. All a coach is doing is telling you go to this stone, to this stone, to this stone, to this stone. You could figure out how to get across on your own and maybe take a step and then have to step back and then take a step and then take a step back. Or the coach can help you go, okay, well, we can go from here to here to here to here. And the biggest thing that I tell like prospective clients now is like, listen, here's my job as a coach. My job as a coach to help you not need me. My goal is in 60 to 90 days, you don't need me. I equate it to being a parent. When I was raising my boys, my goal was them to go out and not need us. In fact, Rachel and I would always argue because I'd be like, make them do their own laundry, make them do their own cooking. And she's like, why? I'm like, because I want them to be able to do it so that when they get old enough to go out of the house, they don't marry the first girl that's going to cook for them because they don't know how to cook. I want them to be able to take care of themselves. That's my job as a coach. So we decided, okay, if we're going to coach, I need to learn how to coach. I didn't really feel like I needed a lot of information on like how to eat primally because I've been doing that for 6 years, but I had no qualification or certification on being a coach. And I really looked around and I looked at a lot of different programs and I'm like, Primal, I've read Mark Sison's books. I agree with like pretty much everything he's ever talked about or written about. And I've talked to several people who've graduated from the program who I'm friends with within the keto space. And we're like, yeah, we're going to do Primal. And it has been an amazing decision, not just for coaching people, but just for me opening up my own eyes and seeing things like, for example, sleep. I never really paid attention to how much that sleep impacts my life. Like I would tell you my diet is on point, but my sleep is not. And I know that now after going through the program and then starting to realize like, okay, yeah, that's the biggest obstacle to my health journey is I was sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night and watching and putting myself in front of computers at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So it became an opportunity for us to work on that one area. So getting the health coaching, participating in that program really helped him to work on that one area of his life and also for me to work on it as well. And so you don't have to be the master level to start coaching. I think that is a false, like you think, okay, well, if I'm not a certified doctor, I cannot begin. So that's where education comes in.
Yeah. It's we spoke before you guys enrolled here and we talked about the value of the program and weighing that against your existing knowledge already. And I was trying to be honest about what I thought you would get out of this. What was likely going to be just an affirmation of what you already know versus what I think was going to aid you in the direction you wanted to go. And that was the coaching education. And you also opted to opt into the master coach course, which you said has opened your eyes.
I've learned so much in the master coaching course. It has really opened up my eyes, and it's opened up my eyes that not everybody needs coaching. I have in the last 6 weeks done more discovery, and Rachel too. We've done more discovery calls where at the end of the call, we're like, you don't need coaching. Just watch our videos. Like, you don't need to pay us. Like there's like, maybe I shouldn't do this, but I just can't take people's money when I don't think they need to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll tell people like, listen, let's, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, do this, watch our videos. And if you're still struggling, then let's talk again, you know, but I really want to help the person who, like, for example, that I started working with yesterday, where she weighs over 380 pounds and lost her, you know, sister. And she was like, I'm like, I can't not eat tortillas and stuff. I'm like, okay, so we've got some work to do. And like, yes, I believe you need some help. You're going to need someone to help you along with this and figuring out the right decisions and stuff like that. Because she was trying to go from eating a standard American diet to carnivore. And I'm like, if you can't not eat a tortilla once or not eat sugar, that's like not a good jump.
No.
You know?
Well, what that speaks to, first of all, integrity. It's integrity also. It's actually not enjoyable or rewarding to work with clients who don't need you or who aren't a good fit, whatever that might be. And it also speaks to the fact that you have this library of content to direct people to. I mean, that's, you know, from my perspective, where a self-guided course is an interesting product offering for a coach. You know, what if I created at Mighty Networks, you could do that, right? Curriculum. It's $29. This is my, 8-week intro to keto thing. That would be sufficient for you. I don't think you need a coach or for what you're doing, which is, listen, you're good to go with the free content. Just buckle in and do it. There's integrity there. There's trust. We're in the business of trust. I mean, the client you just described, over 380 pounds, she's got a lot of emotion wrapped up in her health struggle. And you know that emotion personally. If we weren't trustful people, if we were kind of wheeling and dealing shysters, we wouldn't be successful. Coaches aren't going to be successful, in my opinion, unless we are integrous and trustworthy. So it's a good place to come from.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we did, actually, I think we came up with the idea in like the last lesson of the starter primal course. I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry. But the whole idea of like mini challenges. Mm-hmm. And so we've always on our channel done 30-day challenges. We've always like this month, Rachel's doing a dance challenge. Like get people up and move every day, turn on find a song you like and dance for just 3 minutes in your own private to get you to move, because so many of our subscribers don't ever get off the couch. And so it's like, if we can get you to move 3 minutes a day, that's a start. If every time you have to go to the mailbox to get your mail, do it 3 times instead of 1 time, then
that's victory.
We're making a change. And so we said, well, we were doing a challenge in the month of September called Beef, Butter, Bacon, and Egg, where literally for the month, the only thing you can eat is beef, being any ruminant animal, butter, bacon, or eggs. You can't have any sweetener, no poultry, no dairy other than butter, no fish, anything that's bingeable. And the idea, we did this with Dr. Barry last year, the idea behind it is that you cannot overeat that food. You just can't overeat it. If you eat until you're full, just 2 or 3 meals a day, you will not be able to overeat it. And he had actually put a challenge out that if you can gain 10 pounds of fat in 90 days doing this, he would give you money. He would give you $1,000. So we did this as a challenge to ourselves last year to prove him wrong, and we didn't. I lost 10 pounds of fat in 30 days eating.
Darn it.
I know.
So we decided this year we're going to do it as a community challenge, and we did it with our channel for free, and then said, let's create a course. Yeah. And so we created this course where originally it was just like one little page, and we're like, well, what if we videoed us reading this page? And it literally, like, every video is 2 minutes long, and there's like 24 videos, and we put it out there, and we put it inside of Mighty Networks. We made this little course. And they basically every day they watch a video, and there'll be a little worksheet like, hey, do this journal. And then every Monday for 4 weeks, we did a video call check-in. And I figured we'll get 15 people to sign up for it. We had 205 people sign up for it.
Amazing.
And we're like, thousands of pounds lost in 30 days.
So and which was awesome. And talk about something that's going to just make you feel so good when you see their results, And sometimes I think that we've wrongly had that value that it's just, everybody just wants everything free. And sometimes people don't value things unless they put some money down. So it is not.
That was a hard lesson.
It was so hard for us. Like we thought anything that we attach a price tag to is monstrous. We were like, we're bad people if we charge money for it. But it comes back to valuing your time. And I know if we don't charge money for this, then I have to take myself out of the space and I have to plug into another job away from you guys.
Exactly.
Because we still have to have electricity. Okay. We still have to, I have to have water to flush my toilet. Okay. So knowing that, hey, I know that I'm coming from a place of integrity. I am not trying to be a shyster. So when I do present a challenge and we do have a charge, we're not going to gouge you for it, but we're going to bring our best. We're going to try ourselves to get 1% better as we move forward in this journey. And so this is our first course, but it won't be our last course. And we are going to do our very, very best to make every course moving forward get a little bit better. And so now I feel like I'm giving you value and then you have something to be a part of. And we were shocked that people wanted to join the course when there is so much stuff out there for free.
And we've made every mistake that you talked about in the first course, Erin. Like we started off with like Rachel, like we were like $30 for a 30-minute coaching call. And I remember it's like some of our friends like who were within the space, they were like, that's silly. Like, why are $30? Like, do you realize it's going to take you 30 minutes to prepare, 30 minutes for the call, 30 minutes to decompress? Like, your time is worth money. And we have like, well, but we're trying to help people. And like, we're not really even fully certified yet. And like, it has just continued to change to like, originally it was like book a call whenever you want. Now it's like, no, it's every week or nothing. Like, because like, I can't help you if I'm not talking to you every week. Even that program, like we set the price at $30. Now I'm looking at like, yeah, that was probably like $100 course.
Yeah. Easily.
You know,
easily. We talk about this all the time that, so at the end of the day, I mean, cause I hear this again from people interested in like feeling guilty, charging people to be healthy or feeling guilty, giving them information that's not I'm like, that's not what they're paying you for. You've got to get that out of your head. And quite frankly, the fact of the matter is you're putting in time is your one non-renewable resource. You cannot get it back. And if you don't value your time, they're not going to value they will waste it all day long. It's not their time. Right. Yeah. And so that exchange happens to be in money at the end of the day, because I have found after 10 years of doing this, if people are not invested in something, they don't have anywhere near the same value that you put on it, because this is your calling, right? This is your heart's desire for them. You know, whether maybe they think it's accountability they need. Maybe they think it's just the notion that I'm paying for this, so I have to show up. It's part of why CrossFit is priced the way it's priced.
I was just going to say that. So it occurred to me a couple of days ago when I was once again changing the price of our 60-day program. Keeps going up. That when I went to CrossFit, and again, I was getting a deal at CrossFit. I never missed. If I said I was going, I went. I had a membership to Planet Fitness for 2 years. I never went.
And they had free donuts.
Right? I never went. Why? Because there was money attached to that CrossFit. Like that $50, $60 a month. I mean, $10. Who notices $10 coming out of their bank account every month? Yep. You know, but when you're looking at 50, 60 or 150 of the normal CrossFit price, like, yeah, you're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm delighted to hear that you're raising your prices. Everybody starts out too low. At some point, you find a price point that feels right. It's hard to describe that, but at some point, you get to a point where this is the price of this thing.
I think that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
So,
but it's taken a while.
It's taken several.
Because again, you are bringing into any new job, you have to see this is a new job. Like if you are starting a new job and like in a new office, you feel awkward, right? You feel awkward. You're afraid to, spread out too much. Do I decorate my cubicle? Like, am I bothering someone? Should I ask them about going out to lunch? Like it's awkward when you start a new job. And this is no different. This is a new job. It's a new adventure and it's going to be clunky. And you have to understand that this is yours. That's what makes it awesome. So you get to adjust things.
Yes.
So if you are like, hey, this is at a wrong point, this is not sustainable. Okay, let's move it. Let's make it more sustainable. And we're going to continue creeping toward sustainability. Now, hey, it's going to behoove you, audience or person that I'm talking to get in now, right? Because while I still undervalue myself. Yes. So go ahead and like, hey, you want to be the first one. I want to encourage you to sign up now because I don't know what I'm worth yet. So join me now while I'm undervaluing myself.
Yeah. What we teach in our course is to answer the question, where do I find clients? How do I make money? How to make a living and create impact? A living and impact. Those are both equally important. Doing this as a health coach. The answer is clients have to find you. And when they find you, there has to be a clear message that they can hook into and enjoy and trust. So you've done that. That's just you staking your claim as an expert in an area, just staking your claim as an expert, and then starting to create content that proves that point. That's how you've built a community of trust. And now you have this audience to sell things to. Not that that's what you're trying to do, but you can. And that's how we earn a living.
And segueing into that, you've got all this content. Tell people where to find that content. Let us know where they can find you on YouTube and Insta and Facebook, Mighty Networks, all that stuff.
Pretty much everything is under the number 2, crazy with a K, ketos with a K. So our website is twocrazyketos.com. You can find us on Facebook under the
Facebook is different. Facebook is spelled out too, because for some reason
there's 2 other crazy ketos on Facebook apparently. So that's the 2 Crazy Ketos family group. That is a private group. We do that because we just want it to be a safe space. People are being very vulnerable with, their health journeys, and we want to protect that. You can find us on Mighty Networks at members.twocrazyketos.com. We're under 2 Crazy Ketos on Instagram and Twitter.
Yep. And then YouTube is youtube.com/2crazyketos.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. This was so entertaining and just, I'm hoping inspirational for people that have been trying to figure out how they're going to get themselves out there. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
This podcast was brought to you by Primal Health Coach Institute. To learn more about how to become a successful health coach, get in touch with us by visiting primalhealthcoach.com/call. Or if you're already a successful health coach, practitioner, influencer, or thought leader with a thriving business and an interesting story, we'd love to hear from you. Connect with us at hello@primalhealthcoach.com and let us know why we need to interview you for Health Coach Radio. Thanks for listening.